everyone, I'm Danielle Romano, Managing Editor, Convenience Store News, and welcome to this episode of the Convenience Inclusion Initiative podcast, where we share stories of how the convenience store and travel center industry is fostering an inclusive work culture as we tap the minds of thought leaders for insight as to what more the industry could be doing to benefit from diversity of thought and background. Today, I'm joined by Debi Boffa, CEO at TravelCenters of America. Part of the BP portfolio, TravelCenters of America is a full-service travel center network operating under the TA, Petro Stopping Centers, and TA Express brands. Its nearly 19,000 team members serve guests in more than 300 locations in 44 states, with the mission of returning every traveler to the road better than they came. Debi, thank you for being with me today and to share more about TA's commitment to meeting the evolving needs of motorists and professional drivers, and particularly women professional drivers.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Danielle. I'm looking forward to our chat today.
Thank you. All right, so to get us started, earlier this summer, Debbie Shelton, Vice President of TA, spent a few days on the road with a professional woman truck driver. How did this trip come to fruition, and what was the goal of the excursion?
As part of our focus to elevate safety standards at our sites nationwide, we made a decision, and Debbie offered, to do a ride-along with one of our professional drivers. The reason we did this was that we recognised that when you're at a site, things are happening all the time. And sometimes you don't see the finer detail because you're so immersed in it all the time. And we thought if we really were going to be serious about rethinking and reimagining how we operated at our sites with a real focus on safety, and then we also wanted to bring in the perspectives and insights of female professional drivers as part of that too, because we truly believe as more and more females enter the trucking industry, which is fantastic, anything we do to make it more welcoming and safer for them actually makes it more welcoming and safer for everybody who visits our sites, including our female team members who work there. So anyway, Debbie was lucky enough to be able to go out, it was in May, with a professional driver, Violet Helfrich from ACE Door and Hauling and Rigging, which is a division of the Bennett family of companies, which is a fantastic customer of ours. Debbie had an amazing time, and she came back full of ideas and insights of what she learned and what she experienced on that week-long trip.
Great. So that goes right into the next question. So what were some of the observations that Debbie made during her journey?
I think both the biggest reflection I take from getting the debrief from Debbie was how, as a professional driver, so many things are outside of your control, whether it's weather or you're waiting on someone to load your truck or unload your truck, or there's roading delays, or you've arrived at a travel centre and everyone else is at the travel centre filling up with diesel. So just how you're at, so much of what you do is outside of your control, and turning the minds to what we can do, how do we then make that easier? Recognizing the value of time and of Violet's time during those periods. Violet, her truck was an oversized load. She did a lot of that. And so we also got some great insights into some of the nuances and needs of a driver with a large oversized load with a pilot vehicle, restrictions around hours when they had to be off the road, but then how hard it is sometimes to find parking for loads like that. And then when something goes wrong with the truck and you need some service, again, that time, the value of time starts to come back into it as well. So, and then I think Violet and Debbie got to have lots of windshield time talking about the industry and things they loved and things that were an opportunity for all of us. So, yeah, it was great.
Great. Yeah, there's nothing better than that firsthand engagement, right, with your customers and understanding their needs.
Exactly. And part of doing the road trip was that earlier this year, we actually stood up a advisory panel, which has got about just under a dozen professional drivers are all part of it. But we've focused on, again, the female perspective, although we do have some male professional drivers on that panel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what we wanted to do is we were seeking feedback from them, but then this real lived experience that Debi had, and we've put it all together to really help cement some of our programs that we're now implementing at our locations this year. And there's kind of 3 big themes that we're really focusing on, and they came through in Debi's visits as well. So the first one was around lighting. So we heard from our advisory panel, and then Debi also experienced herself. When lots are well lit, you feel safer. And then obviously beyond that, when things aren't well lit, then you can have people don't see you, but then if people are going to do things they shouldn't be doing, they're going to be doing it in the dark, more likely. So what we've done is we've actually been surveying all of our sites, doing lighting surveys, and we've done about 50 so far, and I'm pleased to report 25 of those we are actually now going in and upgrading all of the lighting. And as you'll know, TA sites, Petro sites, and TA expresses, we have very large lots. So that's a big piece of work for us to do. As part of that, parking and access and moving around our lots is another big area of concern. We've also gone in and we're surveying all of our lots, and we're now relaying them out, restriping or painting all of the lots. We're also putting new directional signage up to make it easier for people to navigate those lots, get to the diesel lanes when they want to get to the diesel lanes, get to the cat scales when that's where they want to get, or get to the parking. And we've completed 4 of those, and we'll have another 240 done by the end of the year. So again, a huge amount of work, and then that's helping when you put it next to the lighting, makes it easier for folks to or for drivers to reverse in or get out of the parks after they've rested. So a lot of work going on outside, and we're also adding another 1,600 truck parking spaces to our network this year. So we're really focusing on how do we make it easier for those professional drivers at the end of the day, or when they need to take their rest breaks, that they, know where they can go, can get there easily. Their truck doesn't get knocked by somebody else, and then they can get back on the road at the end. And I think the third one we've also been focusing on, and we're really pleased to announce, cleanliness was another one that came up. So a lot of professional drivers use us as their home away from home, especially those over-the-road drivers. And so showers, cleanliness, our laundry facilities, they're really important for those folks. So we've partnered with Ecolab, which is a global leader in cleaning and disinfection, to ensure our sites are as clean as possible. And we have our new program, which is just rolling out now, which will actually give us an Ecolab seal of certification to say that we're using all the right hospital-grade chemicals, all in the right way with the right training package behind it, so that you can be rest assured that when you are using our amenities, our showers, our restrooms, our laundry facilities, they are clean. So that's something that's just about to hit right now. We've got a number of sites already certified, and we're just finishing up the rest of them. So we're very excited about that and what it means, and the real pride that our porters take in our locations, knowing that they've got what they're doing matters and that they're certified.
Now, with all these rollouts, are there any plans in place to measure, I guess, maybe that customer satisfaction on it, or maybe a timeline for when you're going to begin doing that?
Yeah, so we're revamping our customer feedback processes. We have a number of those, but we're also using our women's advisory panel or our professional driver panels. So we're sharing with them when locations are going live with the new lighting, with the new parking, and shortly with the new Ecolab seals. And we're using them to give us real-time updates on those things. So yes, it's a constant dialogue. As we say, we can only get better if we know where we need to get better.
Yes, of course. And we're in an industry where things never slow down, right? Never stop. Exactly. Great. So you had mentioned the the Women's Safety Advisory Panel forming earlier this year. Do you mind going into some details about that and how that initiative came about?
We were rethinking through our mission, vision, and values, which is all about returning every traveller to the road better than they came, but also recognising that we were that home away from home for folks. Then reflecting on the fact that as the trucking industry, we see more and more females start to enter the professional driving ranks. I think the last stat I saw, it was around 10% of professional drivers in the US are females. For us here at TA, we have about 43% of our workforce is females, and a lot of those are based at sites. And then you overlay with all of that safety. Whether it's team member safety, guest safety, or just the physical safety of the assets that we're operating in. And it kind of all came together as one, really. It was how can we look at this differently? How do we reinvigorate and bring a different perspective? And there was also another telling moment for me. I'm new to this. I've been in this role just over 1.5 years now. I've been with BP for many, many years. And then when BP closed on the transaction with TravelCenters in the middle of last year, I joined the TravelCenters team. And I was attending my first Women in Trucking event. And as part of that, I was signed up to a membership database where there's some blogs. People can post questions and the group will answer. And I saw this one post that a young female driver had put on, and she was talking about asking other fellow drivers, how do you keep yourself safe when you're driving? And she then went on to say, I know I can do preventative maintenance. I can do pre-trip inspections of my vehicles. I know what I need to do around tire tread depth. She knew all that. She said, what I'm really asking for is how do you make and ensure that you are safe when you're doing these large over-the-road journeys, or you're going to a travel centre you've never been before? And it really got me thinking that is a perspective that we wanted to hear more about. What role could we play in that space? And that kind of bringing all those various ideas and thoughts together, as well as a team who really wanted to, put some energy behind programs, because we start to tie things together with a real sense of purpose. We knew we needed to repaint our lots, but now we've got a really good reason to repaint them. And we've got professional drivers and guests who are holding us to account on doing it. So that's kind of where it all came from. And actually, this week I've got a catch up with the internal team on this. And then we'll have another catch up with our advisory panel in a couple of weeks.
So Debbie, how will all these ongoing initiatives and observations, as well as the Women's Safety Advisory Panel, benefit TA's business and specifically catering to women professional drivers? In my mind, there'll be 2 proof points for me. One will be that professional drivers, regardless of their gender or background, they will see us as their home away from home. They will know that we're committed to them feeling safe and secure while they're visiting our sites, and they experience it. Right. The second piece will be our team members, that our team members will feel safer, that people will even enjoy even more working at our sites, knowing that we've got their back around safety, but they've also got the ability to help keep their professional drivers and guests safe too. So I think those for me are going to be the two big proof points. All right. Well, that's great, Debbie. Thank you so much for chatting with me today and sharing your experience and all the good things that are to come with TA. And stay tuned, everyone, for upcoming episodes of our Convenience Inclusion Initiative.